Okay, moving on to week 3 of our picks. Wow, what a crazy weekend last weekend with all the upsets. I mean, I don't think anyone saw. This has been talked about enough this week, but I mean, I even have to say, I mean, I can't believe Alabama and Texas was that close. But Alabama has a lot of glaring issues, obviously, that we didn't know about, and yeah, they're going to have to get that fixed because conference play is going to begin very soon for them, and Arkansas is biting at the chip to get a piece of Alabama right now because they know, and I think everybody knows, that Arkansas right now could probably beat them if they don't clean up these mistakes. And Georgia takes over number one, clearly the best team in the country, in my opinion. But anyways, moving on to this week's games, Florida State versus Louisville. We'll start out with that. Louisville isn't as good as we thought they were. I mean, getting beat down by Syracuse like that. I mean, they did bounce back and get a win last weekend, but I think Florida State is on the up climb right now, and Louisville is just stuck in a rut right now. They just haven't been good since Lamar Jackson was there. So I think this is just going to be another painful year for Louisville fans, and I think that they just continue to lose games, and I think Florida State wins this game. I think they win maybe by 10 points. I don't think they're going to blow them out. This will probably be a close game for a while, but I think Florida State will eventually pull away and win. Next game, Georgia versus South Carolina. Man, everyone thought that Spencer Rattler was going to be really good at South Carolina. He just needed a change of environment and everything else, but that has not come to be true, as we've seen. That was that was pretty rough against Arkansas. I mean, the game was over at halftime. Spencer Rattler obviously isn't the answer for them. He's not very good. He's very inconsistent. He's not accurate. I mean, they did come back sort of in that game, but at that point, the game was already over, and Arkansas could just play soft coverage and just bleed out the clock when they had the ball. So, I mean, it didn't really matter. So I think Georgia is going to win this game probably pretty handily. I don't see this being close at all. Georgia does need to be careful, though, of not going in this game like a few years ago where they just went in and expected to win, and it was just one of those really early and weird kickoff games, and Georgia just sleptwalked through the whole thing, and they lost because of that. So they just need to make sure that doesn't happen in this one. But I've got Georgia winning this one, and they should win pretty easily. Next game is OU versus Nebraska. This is an interesting game since Scott Frost has been fired. I mean, it's a whole different feel there now since they have a different head coach. He was kind of like, Scott Frost is kind of like a plague for them for a while, and I think Nebraska was just ready to move on. I mean, you can't lose Georgia Southern like that. I mean, you can't lose them at all, but I mean, that was just terrible. That was just the final straw. But I think OU needs to be careful going into this game because a lot of times teams, when they get rid of that coach that was just dragging them down the whole time, will come out and they will play so much better. I've seen happen a lot, and I've seen teams go into the game expecting to win and knowing they're going to win, and then it turns out that other team was ready for them, and they punch them in the mouth, and they get the win. So OU needs to be very careful with this game. I picked OU to lose this game coming into this season. I think they're going to win it this time, but I do advise caution going into this game because Nebraska has nothing to lose now, and OU has everything to lose right now. So, I think OU gets out of this with a win, but this is going to be a big test for Brent Venables going on this road because this is the first road trip that he's going to have, and it's going to be tougher than what people think. I think Nebraska puts up a good fight in this one, but falls short. I've got OU winning. All right, Cal versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not as good as we thought they were. I mean, just losing to Marshall in the way that they did, that was terrible. Their offense is bad. I think their defense is decent. I do have to give credit to their defense, but their defense can only do so much, especially with that anemic offense that just cannot get anything going. I mean, they're bad. They should win this one, though. I think they really need this bounce back game. I mean, Marcus Freeman hasn't had a win so far, so he has got to get this win and get things rolling in the right direction, because right now it's not looking good for him. I mean, he could find himself on the hot seat very soon if he doesn't get things going. So I think Notre Dame bounces back, and I think they win this game, because this is one they really need bad. Next game is BYU versus Oregon. This is an interesting one because BYU just came off a big win against Baylor. That was their big win of the year, I think. Oregon got throttled by Georgia, bounced back and beat Eastern Washington like they should have. I'm rolling with Oregon in this one just because they're at home, and BYU just came off of a big win. And I think that because they came off that big win, that they aren't going to come into this game with the same mentality, because I think that a lot of people are going to be picking BYU and expecting them to win this game. I think the opposite. I think going into Oregon, it's going to be a very tough challenge for them, and I think Oregon is going to be very ready for them, and I think the Ducks get a good win here. I'm just going to go ahead and roll with Oregon at this point. I think they're a really good team that people are overlooking. Even though they did get blown out by Georgia, I still think they're a good team. All right, next game is Penn State versus Auburn. Auburn not looking good even last week. Barely beating, I don't remember who they played, but they barely beat them. I mean, it just tells you how bad Auburn's going to be this year. Penn State's looking pretty decent. I do advise caution in this one as well for Penn State, though, going into this game, because Auburn has nothing to lose. I mean, they're probably going to fire their coach at the end of this year, if not in the middle, because I think the losing is about to start for them, and it's not going to stop. But, yeah, I think that Penn State needs to be very cautious going in this game, because Auburn is a very tough place to play, and they have nothing to lose, and I think they're going to bring their A game and everything they've got for their coach in this one. So I think Penn State squeaks out a win in this one, but like I said, I would not be surprised if Auburn wins this game, because this is just going to be a really tough game. This is a tough spot for Penn State. So I'm going to roll Penn State for now, but I would not be surprised if this is an upset. All right, next game is Kansas versus Houston. How about KU being 2-0? I mean, wow, who saw that coming? And Houston not being as good as we thought they were. I think Kansas rolls in this one. I think that they get their third straight win. This is a team no one saw coming out of, they came out of nowhere when scoring all these points. So I'll roll with the Jayhawks in this one, just because. Why not? Just gut feeling, I'm going to go with the Jayhawks. All right, next game is Mississippi State at LSU. LSU bounced back like they needed to. Mississippi State has looked decent. They just got off of a win against Arizona and Tucson. I wanted to find a way to pick Mississippi State in this one, but I can't. LSU's too tough at home, and I think that the Tigers get this win. I don't think this is a blowout. I think that this is a close game, but I think LSU pulls it off at the end of the day because they're at home. I think that home advantage helps them big time in this one, and Brian Kelly gets a big win. All right, next game is Texas Tech versus NC State. These two teams are very interesting, especially since Texas Tech got a win last weekend, and a lot of people didn't think they would do it because their quarterback was out. But NC State's supposed to be a really good team this year. They've kind of been flat. So I don't know. This one I've been back and forth on too. I think I'm just going to roll with NC State just because they're at home. They're the home team. I think Texas Tech's winning comes to an end this weekend, and they get a good case of reality comes and bites them. So I've got NC State winning this one. All right, last game is Miami versus Texas A&M. This is a very interesting game, especially this was the other upset that happened this past weekend was with Miami. I mean, not Miami. Yeah, Texas A&M losing to App State. Of course, everybody knows that. Man, I was going to pick Miami at first going in this one, but something tells me that Texas A&M is going to bounce back and win. Jimbo Fisher doesn't lose a lot, so, and usually when games like this happens, he's really good at getting his team to focus and bounce back, and I think that's what they're about to do. If this was at Miami, I would pick Miami, but because this is at College Station, I think the Aggies bounce back and get a big win, one that's really much needed for Jimbo Fisher. He really needs to win this game, honestly. Otherwise, he's got a lot more losses heading his way, and he's going to find himself on the hot seat before he knows it if he doesn't get things rolling. So I'm going to roll with sorry, someone just pulled by. I'm going to roll with the Aggies to get this win. So that's my my weekly predictions. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good day.